public physically into this meeting so that we are fully compliant with the governor's order. In this case, we're going to start. I'd like to call the meeting, the January 26, 2021 meeting of the Ambulance Committee in order. Welcome everyone to the new year and hope everyone has a happy and of most significance this year, a healthy new year. And I will ask whoever it is that's going to take the roll call to please do so.
Okay, this is the January 26, 2021 meeting of the Ambulance Committee of the Regional EMS Council of New York City. Please let me know if you're here. Dov Jacob or Ari Weiss? Grace Cacciola or Christine Mazzola? Okay. Joe, if you're listening, do me a favor and send Vincent Barranco another invite for this meeting. He's having trouble getting in. And I'm admitting Dov Jacob right now. Okay.
Marie, it's Morty. I'm here.
Okay. Mitchell Powell or William Goffin? Please answer if you're in the room.
Marie, it's Mitch. I'm here.
Thank you.
What'd you hit?
Yeah, Bill's trying to get in. I just sent him the invite again. He's having issues.
Okay, yeah, I apologize. I don't know why I duplicated these meetings.
I know that belly anywhere.
Daniel Mizels.
I am here.
Thank you. Robert Bristol.
Present.
Thank you. John Johnstone. Okay. Jerry Gelbart or David Mikatansky? I see Jerry.
I am here.
Okay, great. And okay.
And Dave's trying to get on.
Okay. Travis Kessel or James Downey?
Travis Kessel, present.
Thank you. Scott Olansky? That's it. You're in trouble, Scott. Nancy Benedetto?
Nancy is here.
Thank you. Vincent Barranco, did he make it on? I know he's having trouble. He's not here yet. You did your Langs?
Present.
Marie, Dov Jacob is here.
Marie, you lost voice. We don't hear you.
Cat knocked me off. Okay, hello. I'm back again. Martina Barcarella?
I'm here.
Thank you. Brian Levinsky?
Here.
And I'm going to go back to the top. Okay, Dov Jacob, you said you were here?
So you have to unmute yourself and say you're here.
Present.
Thank you. Grace Cacciola or Christine Mazzola? Okay. And John Johnstone? Okay, right now I'm only calling Ambulance Committee, so if I haven't called your name, I'll call you as soon as we get to council. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We have 10 people present. A quorum is 7, so we are ready to go.
Thank you very much. I will say this again at REMSCO because I think it's important that it's said publicly at REMSCO, but just quickly now, I think we all owe a debt of gratitude to Marie and to Joe for the arrangement of the COVID-19 pod for all the EMS workers in the city of New York. If anyone ever questions what REMSCO does for any of us and for the public, this proves more than anything else how valuable the work that they do in the office and all the help. And I know Marie is going to say it's a team effort. Yes, it is.
It is.
Entire team. But as always, the leaders of the team make the team work. So thank you, Marie, and thank you, Joe. We appreciate it. Item on the agenda is the approval of the November 17th, 2020 minutes of the ambulance committee. I assume you've all read it, you've received it. Are there any corrections, comments? Hearing none, does anyone agree to the approval of the minutes? Hearing no objection, we will accept the minutes as unanimous by acclamation. Thank you very much. We now move to the correspondence report, which, Marie, correct me if I'm wrong, it's the same thing as for the REMSCO, right? There was only one.
Yes, so you can read the entire,
Okay, I'll read them twice.
Wait, you're not doing a roll call for REMSCO now also?
No. We have to have separate meetings. We can't do it like you've done for medical standards, because these are both bylaw committee meetings, unlike the medical standards.
Understood.
That has to happen at 6 o'clock. Okay. So the Office of the Council received the following correspondence: no new information for membership, nothing from FIDNA EMS. We've had 2 enforcement actions from the New York State Department of Health. Carol Delgado in the Bronx, 342409, surrendered effective 11/24/2020. Christopher Foy, number 341769 from Central Square, I don't know where it is, suspension stage, civil penalty of $2,000. Okay, we have received information from the following ambulance agencies. Please, everyone, mute yourself if you're not speaking. Bedford-Stuyvesant VAC is preparing for an on-site inspection from New York State DOH, and we wish them well. And Citywide Mobile Response has received a stipulation to correct deficiency. They have requested technical assistance from REMSCO, and it will be referred to the ambulance committee for a volunteer. Marie, ask for a volunteer. You're muted again.
I know, sorry. Yes, we need a volunteer, just like Bed-Stuy, we asked people from the volunteer sector to come and help. It really doesn't matter what sector you're from. It's going to be a walkthrough to take a look at the stipulation that they were given by the state and to make sure that they have answered all the questions in the stipulation, and just do a walkthrough to look at an ambulance, make sure that they've done everything they're supposed to do. We're not doing the heavy lifting for this. We're just going to check it and give them advice.
Do we have
Anyone who's,
somebody?
if we don't get a volunteer tonight, I will get a volunteer later.
Sounds like something that's going to happen.
Yeah, it's we don't have a choice. We're the REMSCO. We have to.
Don't
And
volunteer, you get voluntold.
Yeah, and it can't be me because I'm not a field person anymore. It needs to be somebody that actually knows what an 800 list is and what should and shouldn't be on an ambulance.
Marie, it's just for an 800, or it's?
It's a little beyond that, but
Yeah,
I
mean,
will.
I would be fine doing that. If somebody else wants to pair with me, we can find a date to do that.
Okay, Sean, that would be great. Thank you very much.
Does anybody else want to come along?
I'll pair with Sean. We'll take care of it.
We
Thank you,
appreciate
Jerry.
both of you. It's very useful. Thank you. Okay,
You're welcome.
we now move to ambulance, to core sponsors, no new information. And we now move to Ridgewood VAC expansion, Forest Hills VAC expansion. Now, before we get to these expansions one at a time, it's been brought to my attention that there are 3 agencies that are currently fighting over territory. And I've seen 3 maps. Not being a person from Queens who can't, even with the help of Waze, get from one street in Queens to another without getting totally lost, I'm not sure I quite understand the maps, but it's clear that there is a dispute. And unless we settle this dispute, nothing we do is going to really help, because it's going to end up going back to the state, and they're going to dispute and send it right back to us. Now, I've asked if they were willing to meet the 3 agencies privately in a room and try to solve it, and I've been told that there's no interest. which sounds to me that everybody just wants to fight. I don't know what to do, Marie, before we talk about it, because each one will yell about the other.
Okay, well, when somebody applies for a CON, we have to act on it, whether we think that it is wise or whether we think that it is going to turn into a mess, which this has the potential to be a mess. The council, it's Robert Leviton. I'm letting someone in the room. It's Dr. Leviton. He's coming in. Right now we have two applications. One is from Forest Hills and one is from, oh my God, I'm losing my mind, Bridgewood. And the territories that they are asking for are pretty much the same. Jerry can give us more of an exact, I think there's a little teeny piece of Queens that Ridgewood is asking for in addition, but we can go into that later. There's nothing to say that this council cannot approve both applications and we have in the city many ambulance agencies that cover the same territory. We don't usually do that with volunteers because it interferes with their funding. You can't go to agencies to the same territory and expect to fundraise, but that's not our problem. The state has told me that, there is no barrier to us approving the same territory. My problem is that these are neighboring agencies and they really should be working with each other instead of fighting over their territories. They all are manning up with their lawyers, and this is going to not be pleasant for anybody involved in this. And I don't foresee any winners. I think once we do what we do, they're going to be appealed in Albany, and they're just going to sit there and collect dust for a year at least before anything gets done. And I've told both applicants this, and they want to go forward.
Are there representatives from both applicants here in the room right now?
We have a representative from Ridgewood because that application is, I think it's complete, and other people who've reviewed the application believe it's complete. I don't believe we have any representatives from the other application from Forest Hills. I can certainly, I have their lawyer on speed dial. I can call him in if you want him to attend this meeting.
Well, I actually wanted to see if they would be able to, any reason why they wouldn't be willing to agree and make some peace. I'd rather have peace, both applicants, rather than have to do a fight that will, as you say, just end up hurting everybody and taking valuable time.
Yeah, the problem is that once we get this application in and it's deemed complete, we don't have to deem anything complete tonight. The Ridgewood application does really seem to be complete. It would not be right not to deem it complete, but we can send letters to both of these applicants asking them if they would withdraw their applications without prejudice for a space of, say, 30 days. And see if we can get them around the table to talk. And that would be the most reasonable thing. I don't think that they're going to take it well. I think that they're going to go to the state and say the regional council is not doing what they're supposed to do, blah, blah, blah. But we can try. And if they do that, then we'll have a special meeting and deem them complete and do what we have to do. Does that make sense?
Murray, just a quick question. I know neither of the applications have been officially deemed complete, but correct me if I'm wrong, the Ridgewood application as originally submitted, which we really haven't heard much else from, and you're indicating is substantially complete. As I recall, that application was received first, and it sounds like it was or may be deemed complete prior to the Forest Hills application. Is that
now, actually the Forest Hills application was received about 2 weeks before Ridgewood, but it was so incomplete that it had to go back. It was in pieces. And even now I just received
Marie, let me interrupt for 1 minute.
Okay.
Joe, could you please check? It seems that the YouTube feed is not working. And it's been removed by the user and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Anyway, Marie, continue.
Okay. The Ridgewood appears to be complete, and we have had members of the ambulance committee look at both applications. The Forest Hills application was recently resubmitted because it was returned. It was submitted on the 19th, and then after that was looked at, it was discovered that the letters of solicitation did not identify public need. So they had to resend out the letters of solicitation like 2 days ago.
So,
And-
but let me just, again, I may not understand this.
No, go ahead.
Exactly, but from a procedural perspective, does the ambulance committee currently have a single complete application for expansion of operating territory?
Well, that's why Forest Hill, Ridgewood is being brought up here tonight. Members of this committee have looked at it. It was my intention to request that it be deemed complete, and we go forward with at least that application.
So from that technical legalistic perspective, if the committee has a single, I mean, we know that there's two out there, right?
Yes.
But if we have a single application that is deemed complete, is it the responsibility of the committee and the council to act on the complete application as of this time?
It is. It's according to 606 and Article 30, once we have an application that is deemed complete, we need to go forward. The clock starts for 60 days for us to complete it. I have to set up a public hearing and just go forward.
There's no reason.
You know, I think I expressed this in an email back to you last week or the week before. If all that work has already been done by members of the committee, members of the council, and the hard work by the staff at New York City REMSCO, then why would we want to ask one or both of the applicants to drop it all and start again? Because, and I'm going to go back about.
Let's not have a close conversation again. Okay, we're still having a formal meeting. You are legalistically correct, and there's no reason why we cannot or should not move forward on the Ridgewood one tonight.
That is my point. You thank you.
I agree with everything that you're saying. What I am saying, just that we should keep in mind, and that Ridgewood should keep in mind, that because there are not two, but three challenges to the turf, if they don't work it out among themselves, no matter what we do tonight, then all the applications they get to the state will end up sitting there in court for at least a year. And not one of them is going to get what they want for a long time coming. So my suggestion is, just as you said, since legalistically we have one complete application, we're going to discuss that application. But I was hoping that we could get the three of them into a private room so that they could understand and work it out. Now, if you tell me that they hate each other's guts so badly that they will not talk to each other, well, then so be it. We'll do what we have to do, and they can stay in court for the next 10 years for all I care. But it seems that the smart thing to do is to get them to come to some realization, whether it's to share the area, whether it's to take little tiny pieces of the area to each other and split it. Okay, I don't care. But whatever it is, yes, we have to move on the Ridgewood one tonight.
Yes, no, you did. Yeah, thank you. I agree as well. But I guess my final question on the matter, I guess procedurally is, and Marie and perhaps Nancy, is there any precedent anywhere or over time of a regional council fundamentally playing Solomon here? In other words, going back, so we know that as Marie is saying, these folks don't want to meet and talk about it. Okay, well, is there any precedent in this committee or the regional council in presenting some kind of alternative or some sort of area sharing plan, which we would have to do? We'd have to do some work here in order to do that. It would have to be, using geographical information systems again. Perhaps Rob Bristol and the GIS team at NYCEM can help. But should we or would we even be allowed to propose some sort of split that we think as a committee and as a council would satisfy the expansion of territory for both of the ambulance services in question, sort of split it down the middle or in some manner that would make everybody happy, or at least give everybody half and half. Because listen, at the end of the day,
Okay,
if it's all over the state, that's what they're going to do.
that I'm going to let Nancy respond, okay, because she has the biggest institutional memory here to tell us about this. But just quickly, I don't think we're allowed to impose anything over anyone, but I think we can help them come to peace, to make peace. And if we can serve a lot of people in a room and everyone can agree, well, that's great. But anyway, Nancy, go ahead.
Yeah. So yes, there has been in the past decisions made by the ambulance committee and ultimately the regional council to request that a withdrawal of an application without prejudice in order to work out whatever little discrepancies might need to be fixed to make the application go forward without difficulties up at state. Part of our role is to help provide technical assistance. That would be part of what we're doing, even though time has been already spent on this. So it would not hurt if Ridgewood was, if the agencies are amenable to it, we actually could and should consider assisting in helping them move forward in a positive way by withdrawing their application without prejudice. It is, and we do have that background to support it.
Thank you, Nancy. Is there anyone here from Ridgewood? Well, since there's no one here from Ridgewood.
So Kevin Mahoney is here.
Yeah. Speak up. Where are you? Yeah, there you are.
Kevin Mahoney from. So just a brief little history with this. The Ridgewood Volunteer Ambulance Corps over the last year and a half to 2 years has worked with 3 agencies to consolidate operations and merge corporations. We already completed the process of 2 transfer of operating authorities. We merged with Middle Village Volunteer Ambulance Corps first, and then we merged with the Glendale Volunteer Ambulance Corps. The last piece of our puzzle was to have an MOU developed with the Woodhaven Richmond Hill Volunteer Ambulance Corps, who did lose their certificate to operate. The Woodhaven Volunteer Ambulance Corps currently is housed with Ridgewood. They do not have a CON. We do have a memorandum of understanding with them that one of the requirements for our MOU is that Ridgewood would apply for an expansion to regain their old operating territory back. We've worked on this for the last year and a half, 2 years. We have full support from every elected official, various community groups, civic groups in the area as shown in our application. And our MOU would not allow us to chop up the area. And quite frankly, we're working with the organization that used to serve the area, with their board of directors. And they're in full support of our expansion. And they're looking forward to using the proceeds of the funds that they have from the building that they lost to open up a new base in their area underneath Ridgewood Volunteer Ambulance Corps.
Have you spoken to Forest Hills, or is this, we don't even want to talk to them?
We sent Forest Hills a letter as required by the application on October 26th. 2 weeks or 3 weeks after that, an application, from my understanding, was submitted. I recently sent another letter to them, invited them to our board meeting to discuss anything. We currently have a mutual aid agreement with them that's still in effect to this day, and that still will stand.
Have they responded to your request to meet?
As of now, no. Our board meeting at Ridgewood is February 7th, and the invitation is still up in the air.
In that case, I think we must proceed. We have a complete application from Ridgewood VAC to expand. I assume everyone here has looked at that and understands the intricacies of the map. A motion to approve this application and to move it forward to the REMSCO would be in order.
Make a motion to deem the application by Ridgewood Volunteer Ambulance Corps to expand its operating certificate deemed complete and move to public hearing proceedings as appropriate.
Is there a second?
Who's doing the seconding?
I'll second it. Bogart.
Thank you, Bill.
Okay, thank you very much. We will need now a roll call vote. The motion, in short, is to approve the Ridgewood VAC expansion CON as you see copies and to move it forward to the REMSCO meeting later this evening.
Can I just ask one question of Mr. Mahoney?
Sure.
I have a question.
So
Question.
a long part of my career was spent working in those areas. So my question, I guess, from the map perspective is, Forest Park and its environs do a fairly good job of splitting the south portion, which is what they're looking to expand to, with the north portion, which is their current area. Is Forest Park currently covered by any particular area of a volunteer ambulance corps or no?
The Glendale Volunteer Ambulance Corps CO1 encompassed Forest Park, which is now with Ridgewood Transfer Operating Authority.
Got it. Thank you very much.
I also think a part of it was is under Woodhaven on the Park Lane South side.
Okay, thank you. So,
Question.
is there any more discussion on this motion?
I think Vinnie Branco wants to be recognized.
Vincent, go ahead.
Yes, so I'm sorry it took me a little time. I had some technical issues trying to get on. So I missed most of the conversation. I think I came in at the tail end about splitting the area. I believe personally that would be a very good idea. I'm coming from a volley background. That's a huge chunk of area that could be split between the two. So I was looking at the maps and for both applications. And so I don't even know what the whole location is, because when you look at the Ridgewood application, it shows the area goes down all the way on Liberty Avenue and goes across 103rd Avenue all the way to the Van Wyck. When you look at the Forest Hills application, it has the southernmost border of Atlantic Avenue to 108th Street, down 108th Street to 109 Avenue, out to the Van Wyck. So I don't even know what area they're looking for. And I'm going to tell you, you know, from plotting on the map, I'm very surprised Lindenwood Volunteer Ambulance wouldn't want the southernmost tier, because it's about 5 blocks away from their base, the southernmost tier. So I'm just, so all I'm saying is there is a little confusion. There is a little confusion on the map on what is the proper area everybody's applying for, what was the Woodhaven area map and the boundaries. So I have a little concern with that. So I know I came in late in the conversation.
Okay. I just want to
I don't know if
clarify.
that was it.
First, Mr. Mahoney wants to say something, but before we even get to him, we can't mix up the applications. You know, the Ridgewood application has its territory laid out. The Forest Hills has its territory laid out. Though they have many similarities, there is a little bit of a difference. So let's not try and reconcile this map, because it's not going to happen. Mr. Mahoney, did you want to say something? If that's okay with you, did you?
Yes, please. I was going to ask him.
I just thank you, Mr. Baranko, for your points. I just wanted to point out that we are applying for the old CON that Woodhaven has, which is Community Board 9. And, you know, from our recent understandings, the state is requesting boundaries be coterminous with our CONs for either Community Board or precincts. So we applied for Community Board number 9, which encompasses all of Woodhaven, Richmond Hill Volunteers, old CON. In regards to Lindenwood, we've had 3 discussions with Lindenwood, and they are well aware of what we're doing, and we are going to continue to foster that relationship with them.
Okay, so thank you. This is Vincent. We did talk about this before you walked in. Obviously, in an ideal world, all of this would have been settled, or there'd be a willingness to settle. Apparently,
Can I ask a question?
yes.
Our role as a REMSCO ambulance committee, and then followed by the REMSCO as a whole, is to determine if there is the application is complete, and then if there is a need, correct?
Correct.
Okay, and need is determined, does there have to be a public hearing with regards to need?
Yes.
Okay, so won't all this that we're talking about now be discussed at a public hearing? And really the purpose right now is to determine if the application is complete?
Yes.
So if the application is complete, that means that all the papers are there and they're good to go to a public hearing, right? We don't have to have this discussion twice.
We will have this discussion 3 times, not twice.
Right, but we don't have to have it a 4th time tonight.
We don't have to have a choice. So let's move on. I've been trying to.
All right, as long as we're on the same page.
Okay, so can I do this roll call vote?
We do have, let's just repeat for the record. We have a motion on the floor. It was made by Bill, I believe. And we have,
Made by Jerry Gelbart and seconded by Bill Goffin.
okay, so we have a motion, we have a second. We are now going to take a roll call vote, which is focusing only on the Ridgewood VAC expansion CON.
Okay,
Only ambulance committee members.
okay. So you can vote in favor, opposed, or abstain. Okay? Dove Jacob.
In favor.
Okay. Grace Cacciola. Christine Mazzola. Mitchell Powell. Or William Goffin. I see Mitch trying to unmute himself. Yes, he's in favor, but you need to say it because.
Got to be recorded.
He might not be able to unmute. Mitch, I got you. He's in favor. In favor.
Okay, Bill, thank you. Okay, Daniel Mizels.
In favor.
Robert Bristol.
In favor.
John Johnstone. Whoa. Someone wrestling?
Oh, please mute yourself. There are a lot of people who are not muted.
Okay, so John Johnstone is not here. Jerry Gelbart or David Mikatansky?
Gelbart, in favor.
Okay. Travis Kessel or James Downey?
Travis Kessel, in favor.
Okay. Scott Orlansky? Nancy Benedetto?
In favor.
Okay. Vincent Barranco? Vincent? Vinny, try and unmute yourself. Thank you. Martina Barcarella?
I did.
In favor.
In
Brian Levinsky?
favor.
In favor.
And you did your Langsam?
In favor. Joe, can you please mute everybody and then mute the speaker? Just force everyone. Looks like I'm not muting themselves. Okay, now it's cool.
Okay, so we have a unanimous approval of that this is deemed complete, and that starts the clock. I'm going to have to plan a public hearing and all that good stuff, and that's my next issue is finding an attorney. You know, we've been using Mr. Shorn, Frank Shorn.
Let's not discuss this in public. You need to find an attorney.
Okay, yeah, I was going to ask for recommendations. Anybody know of somebody that we can use that has some experience in public hearings that is not going to charge the applicants $10,000 or whatever? Just send me names and I'll interview them.
Okay.
Okay. Now, we do have to officially talk about
yes.
the other one.
One at a time.
Okay.
Okay. we have finished on number 6 on the agenda. We now move to number 7. They submitted an application, Forest Hills, on 12/08 of 220. It was returned as incomplete. They resubmitted 119, and corrected letters were only received yesterday. I believe that it is too soon for us to vote on this tonight. I don't think we have had a chance to look at it as much as we need to, and I would believe that we need a motion now to put this off until our next meeting.
I just want the lawyer did ask me to ask the committee to consider deeming the application complete, pending receipt of these. I had to say it. I don't think we should, because you don't know what kinds of letters you're going to get. You may get a bunch of letters that are in opposition to it. But the application really isn't complete until we start getting letters back.
Such a motion would be in order.
Oh, Grace has her hand up.
Grace, can you speak?
I can speak, thank you. I'm sorry, Maria, late coming into the meeting, but on the last vote, FDNY is in favor.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, can we now get a motion?
Yeah, Travis Kessel, I'll make the motion.
What is the motion? Please make it.
To deem the application incomplete at this time.
Thank you very much. Is there a second on that motion?
Second the motion.
Hubbard, second.
Okay, it was Travis and who? Who was the second?
I believe Jerry Gelbach, I think.
Yes.
Yes.
I was talking over Jerry, or he was talking over me, but okay.
Okay. Let me
Pick
just
one.
get some.
Okay. Is there any more discussion about moving this motion?
Point of order, question.
Yes, go ahead, Nancy.
Do we need to submit to the applicant reasons for?
Yes.
Yes.
And
We
Maria,
need to submit to the applicant reasons. So is the ambulance committee identifying those reasons, or are we leaving that to staff to identify the reasons?
I believe we will leave it to Marie, who's made a very good statement about why it's incomplete.
Yeah, it's limited to the letters. If anybody else who's looked at this application has anything else to add to this, please call me tomorrow, because it's not fair to send a letter saying that this is missing and then next week say, oops, we forgot, you're also missing this. I'd like it to be complete so they could send in everything they need to at the same time.
Okay.
Hearing no further discussion, please make a roll call vote.
Okay, let me just set up this voting. Okay, so we have to do a vote in the affirmative. So, or are we voting to deem incomplete, or do we vote to deem complete?
No, we're voting. The motion was to vote that it is incomplete. That is,
Okay.
if you vote yes, then it's incomplete. No, it's not incomplete, and abstain means you haven't made up your mind.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure I got the language right, because I know I'm going to have lawyers calling me tomorrow. Okay. I love my job.
Oh, come on.
I'm only joking. If you can't joke, what are you going to do? Okay, so the motion is to deem the Forest Hills CON expansion application incomplete. In favor is supporting the vote. Opposed means you think it's complete, and abstain is abstain. So, Doug Jacob,
In favor that it's incomplete.
thank you. Grace Cacchiola,
In favor, incomplete.
okay. Mitchell Powell or William Goffin,
Mitch, I see you. In favor of incomplete? Yep, thumbs up. We're going that.
okay. Daniel Mizels,
In favor.
okay. Robert Bristol,
In favor.
okay. John Johnstone, Jerry Gelbart or Dave Mekatansky,
Jerry Gilbart, in favor, incomplete.
Travis Kessel,
In favor, incomplete.
Nancy Benedetto,
In favor.
Vincent Baranco,
In favor, incomplete.
Martina Barcarella,
In favor.
and Brian Levinsky.
In favor.
Okay, now this was also unanimous.
Wait, what happened to me?
Oh, sorry, you did you?
Incomplete.
Okay. Okay, so I just want to make a question to the committee. In fairness to this applicant, if the only item that's missing are these letters of solicitation, which they have sent out, they have a 2-week time limit, which is an acceptable time for return of a response. If after 2 weeks they are able to send me this information, I will be forwarding it to the ambulance committee. We do not have to meet like this to vote. We could, it's a Zoom meeting, so it wouldn't take that long. But I may call back the committee, and if we have to deem them complete in 2 weeks, I think it's only fair, unless you have an objection.
I think you should do it by an emergency Zoom meeting.
Okay, yeah.
Definitely, these two plus the third one, who is not being mentioned, is definitely going to all end up in court, and we're going to have a big mess upstate here. So let's cross our T's and dot our I's, and make sure we don't give the lawyers any excuses besides what they do for a living.
Yeah, and it is our job to try and be as fair as possible. So everybody needs to have the ability to get their paperwork in, and for us to do what we're supposed to do in a timely fashion. And it was held up between COVID and the middle of the holidays. These should have been started already, but it is what it is. So we're doing our best.
Thank you very much. Let's move forward. We're still on the correspondence report, surprisingly enough. The Office of the Council sent the following correspondence: agendas, minutes, associated attachments. We got a Fidney Mental Health Response Unit support letter from the REMAC. We had an affirmation of protocol update completion, memos to agency medical directors, letter to the commissioner and Governor Cuomo supporting prioritizing EMS personnel in vaccine distribution. And indeed, we have completed an excellent project by the REMSCO. The New York City REMAC Vaccination Administration protocol was sent to CMAC. We'll hear more about that later. And a letter to the commissioner from New York for the REMSCO Board of Directors requesting support for program agency and REMSCO contracts. And I understand that that is now being moved forward as well. So now let's move on with the agenda. We only really have 6 more minutes. That was the correspondence report. Review of new application, determination of public need, Marie? Any?
Not anything new besides what we've just discussed.
Exactly. Review of new applicant transfer operating authority.
No, none others.
Ambulance committee tag reports. Do we have any tag reports that are alive?
I was not able to have the security ID committee tag meet, and I do want to try and set up a tag meeting to see how we're going to be giving out these new IDs. So I will do my best to try and get them to meet within the next 2 weeks.
Excellent. Okay. Is there any unfinished business?
Jerry?
Yes, there is. Clarification of operating territory, Glen Oaks Volunteer Ambulance Corps, if I may.
Go ahead.
Okay. Prior to the new year, unfortunately, there was a back and forth regarding the clarification of operating territory that Mr. Henry Earhart submitted on behalf of Glen Oaks Volunteer Ambulance Corps to basically address some items that came up at public hearing during their expansion. Long story short, renaming some of the communities within the existing operating territory, which has not changed, and there is no expansion. It complies with New York State Department of Health Advisory 1106. It was rebutted on probably around December 20th or 21st, and then I put through. I'm not looking to have an extensive or expansive back and forth. But since we are all together, I am requesting that the ambulance committee provide concurrence so the New York State Department of Health Operations Section can review and offer a final determination. What we're looking for is to add Belrose and Queens Village and New Hyde Park into our name string of communities, which is coterminous with 0606, as we've been talking. In 1973, when the agency was formed, everything was considered the greater Glen Oaks community. We've researched articles that concur that, and therefore we are asking to have those adopted into our certificate so we do not have inappropriate or misconceptions or misassumptions on what we cover and what we don't cover. And we'd like to send the concurrence to DOH Operations Section accordingly.
Question, are you asking us to do anything or this is just going to the state?
Well, the ambulance committee has to concur with our request for the clarification of operating territory, which is going to be Belrose, Floral Park, Glen Oaks, New Hyde Park, Oakland Gardens, and Queens Village, as previously sent to Marie at the council, and concur that that complies and it goes up to DOH.
Before we do that, Marie, do you have any knowledge that anyone is disputing this?
Everyone on this committee has agreed to this except for James Downey, who had some issues. And I think that Jerry has clarified that issue, but he was the only person that had a problem with it.
Thank you. Can we have a motion to concur, blah, blah, blah? Somebody?
Motion.
It would be nice if someone that's not part of the volunteer sector would make a motion.
Motion
Vincent
to
Barang.
concur with the recommendations as stated.
Vinnie Baranco, second.
Okay, Danny Mizell made the motion. Vincent Baranco seconded. Please make a roll call vote. And don't forget me this time.
And Marie has the existing map and the original maps on file, and they are identical.
Yeah, and we did share that with everybody here, so nothing's a secret. Let me just get a voting record up. Give me 1 second.
You are muted again, Marie.
Okay, and I wish this machine, okay. Okay, sorry, let me just, this is the vote for the Glen Oaks territory.
Yeah. Yeah, clarification of operating territory procedure.
Okay. Once again, the vote will be in favor, oppose, or abstain. Dov Jacob or Ari Weiss?
In favor.
Okay. Grace Cacciola or Christine Mazzola?
Grace Cacciola in favor.
Thank you. Mitch Powell or William Goffin?
In favor.
Daniel Mizell?
In favor.
Robert Bristol?
In favor.
Okay, and John Johnstone still isn't here, right? Okay. Jerry Gelbart or David Mekitansky?
Do you want to take this one since I brought it up?
Sure, in favor.
Actually, Jerry, I think you are the primary. You can't just.
All right.
You should abstain.
Okay, but can his alternate vote for him? No?
I'm also a board member, so I'll abstain.
That's probably wiser. Okay, Travis Kessel?
Abstain, as well.
Okay. Okay, Scott is not here. Nancy Benedetto?
In favor.
Vincent Barranco?
In favor.
Martina Barcarella?
In favor.
Brian Levinsky?
In favor.
Yadidja Langsom?
In favor.
Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, which is above our quorum of 7 and 2 abstains, so this carries.
Thank you. Now, there's one more item in new business, which is FEMA reimbursement for volunteer agencies and COVID mutual aid activation. Can you tell us about that in 30 seconds or less, or we can push it off to the REMSCO?
Okay, I know Jerry knows more, but I'm going to give the 10-second. There were many volunteer ambulance services that participated in mutual aid activation between March and May 2020. They assisted the fire department with just with mutual aid. FEMA will reimburse for the use of your ambulance as equipment, which I don't think many agencies knew about. They just thought that they couldn't get reimbursed. If you were there, we will be reaching out to you. I think Scott has already started reaching out to agencies. He is the lead on this project. He'll be working with Jerry also to try, and if there's any way to get you reimbursement, the regional council will be working as we have to be the conduit for the money. So we'll apply for it on your behalf, but we want to try and get everybody the money that they deserve for providing mutual aid. So check your emails and let your constituents know. Yes, Nancy?
Yeah, but this is time sensitive, so you have to actually act on it rather quickly so we can get the appropriate paperwork into the state Homeland Security Office.
So if you have not gotten an email.
Yeah.
No, go ahead.
No, I was just want to make sure that you don't sit on this.
In addition to Scott's email, it was socialized at last Thursday's night's volunteer district meeting, and everyone on the call was advised to submit any materials or anything they believe is reimbursable to Scott as soon as possible. So we'll continue to get that message out, but they were advised to do it ASAP, obviously because of the window that the PNP grants provide us.
Okay, thank you very much. We are over time. We have a REMSCO meeting to start. I would suggest that the REMSCO meeting start at 6:10 in 6 minutes from now, so people have a chance to walk around. Stay on the meeting. You don't have to log off. We're using the same Zoom meeting. We'll start at 6:10. Meanwhile, can I have a motion to adjourn the ambulance committee meeting?
So moved.
Thank you.
Motion to adjourn.
We are adjourned. Thank you. See you all in 6 minutes.
Okay, whenever you are ready, Chairman. Oh, it's 6:09. We have 1 minute left. So when did they make your kids come back home? When did they throw your kids out of school?
Usually Monday, yeah, yesterday.
It's so stupid, really. It's really stupid.
So please mute everybody, and then I'll unmute myself, and Marie can unmute herself as she sees fit.
Everyone's already muted, Dr. Langston.
No, actually not. Okay, yeah. Thank you.
Okay, whenever you're ready.
I'm ready. Marie, show yourself, and let's begin.
Okie doke, give me. I'm pouring myself actually just a glass of juice. That water was not scotch.
Okay, you're entitled.
Oh.
Okay, I'd like to call to order the January 26, 2021 meeting of the Regional EMS Council of New York City. I wish to welcome you all to the first meeting of the new year and to wish you all a happy and, in light of the situation, a very, very healthy new year. We are operating under the executive officer order of the governor, which allows us to operate remotely, provided that we stream live over YouTube or Facebook, which we are doing, and that the meeting be recorded, as you can see from the upper left-hand corner of your screen is recorded. As is common in such meetings, we generally do not allow people from the outside who are not members to sit in on the meeting. That can cause Zoom bombs. As you can hear, too much noise from the background, and this is perfectly legal, and therefore people who want to participate, they can watch and send us letters about things that they want us to say, but we will not let just the whole world come into a meeting and then destroy the meeting. The first thing is to have the roll call vote. Marie, please have the roll call vote. I want to remind everyone that anything that you put on chat is not part of the public record and is not being watched. And you must respond with your name so that the people who are listening on YouTube and the recording know who it is that voted. So please respond with your name and respond to the roll call. Marie, go ahead.
Okay, this is the January 26, 2021 meeting of the Regional EMS Council. Dove Jacob.
Present.
Okay. Grace Cacciola.
Grace Cacciola, present.
Okay. Christine Mazzola. Bradley Kaufman. Samia McKeechin.
Present.
Okay, nice. So Allison too. William Goffin.
Present.
Okay, and I know Dominic was here too. Daniel Mizels.
Present.
Robert Bristol.
Present.
John Johnstone. Okay. Travis Kessel.
Present.
Jerry Gelvard.
Present.
Okay. I'm only calling the primaries right now. Joseph Schenker.
Present.
Scott Orlansky. Morty Lax.
Here.
Martina Barcarella. I know Martina was here before. I'll come back to her. Nancy Benedetto.
Present.
Vincent Barranco.
Present.
Arthur Cooper. Arthur Cooper.
Here.
Thank you.
Arthur Cooper's here.
Thanks, Art. Robert Krupe.
Present.
Megan Farley.
Here.
Megan, do you want me to change your last name to Kessel?
Yes, thank you. That'd be nice.
Okay, sorry, I just realized it.
It's okay.
Been married for a while now, right? Okay. Fix that. Manfred Fuchs.
Here.
Sean Graves.
Sean Graves is here. I'll keep my last name.
Okay. Jerry Gumbo.
Yeah.
Hi, Manfred. I see you.
Jerry's here. He's muted again.
Jerry, unmute yourself. We gotta hear your voice. Come on.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm here.
I'm here. Okay. You did your Langsam.
Did your Langsam present.
Brian Levinsky.
Here.
Dennis Laurie.
Here.
Mitch Powell.
I hope you can hear me now.
Yes, we can.
There you go.
And I'm going back to Martina. Martina Barcarella, you back? Okay. Well, we have.
John
definitely-
Johnston's here.
John
Oh.
Johnson.
Thank you. Okay. Sorry, let me just find your. We definitely have a quorum. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24 members present. And I think Martina probably will show up in a little while, but right now she's marked absent. So we're done.
Thank you very much. Before we move on with the agenda, I'd like to formally ask that a motion be placed on the record thanking Marie and Joe for the phenomenal work that they've done on the COVID-19 pod, bringing the COVID-19 vaccination to all the EMS members who otherwise would not have been able to be vaccinated. And of course, critically important role. And so I don't know, I'm hearing an echo all of a sudden.
I just want to ask, please add Scott Chang and Nancy Benedetto into that mix because.
Accepted.
Thank you.
Scott and Nancy and the rest of the team are to be thanked. By the way, Martina is here, so you can mark her as being present.
Yeah, sorry, I'm having an issue with my phone. I'm sorry.
That's okay. You're present.
No problem. So I would like this as a formal motion for the record. Can someone please make that motion?
Second, Sean Graves.
Thank you. Is there a second to that motion?
It would be an honor to second that motion.
Thank you very much. When anyone ever asks, or if you ask yourself why you waste so much time bidding on REMSCO meetings, endless meetings, and so on, this is the reason. Should make all of us feel good that we have such leadership and such staff. And even if people outside the organization don't quite realize what is done here. So as chair, I thank you. We have a motion. I am going to assume that the motion is unanimous and enter that please into the record. Thank you very much. The next item on the agenda is the approval of the November 17th, 2020 meeting minutes. I'm sure you've all read it diligently. And is there any corrections, changes, or deletions? Is there anyone who would object to the passing of the approval of the minutes?
Hi, it's Mitch. I need you to make a correction. I was marked absent, but I was there. I was having audio problems.
Okay, thank you. So noted. Marie will make that correction. Are there any other corrections? Hearing none, I will mark the minutes accepted unanimously as corrected, and we will move on. Thank you. We now move on to the correspondence report. The correspondence report, membership, no new information. Fidney EMS, nothing from them. New York State DOH, we have 2 enforcement actions. Carol Delgado, number 409 in the Bronx surrendered effective 11/24/2020. Christopher Foy, 341769 Central Square, suspension state, civil penalty, 2,000. We then had from various ambulance agencies, and I will hold this off for the ambulance meeting, but there was a just report that Bedford-Stuyvesant VAC is preparing for an on-site inspection. Citywide mobile response received a stipulation to correct deficiencies. They requested assistance, and we have appointed 2 volunteers to help them. Core sponsors, no new information. There was a Ridgewood VAC expansion CON. I will report on that under the ambulance committee report. A Forest Hills VAC expansion CON. We'll report on that under the ambulance call. The Office of the Council sent out agendas, minutes, and associated attachments for this meeting. A Fidney Mental Health Response Unit support letter from REMAC. Affirmation of protocol update completion memos to agency medical directors. A letter to Commissioner Zucker and Governor Cuomo supporting prioritizing EMS personnel in vaccine distribution, which obviously was acted upon. New York City REMAC vaccination administration protocol was sent to the CMAC. We'll hear more about that in the CMAC report. And a letter to Commissioner Zucker from the REMSCO New York City Inc. Board of Directors requesting support for program agency and REMSCO contracts. And I understand that we have had positive news regarding that. Is there any questions about the correspondence report? Hearing none, we now move to the staff report. Emergency preparedness update, Scott Chiang.
Yes, sir. As you eloquently put earlier, that the staff had organized the COVID vaccination effort in cooperation with the city DOHMH during the month of December and vaccinated almost 900 providers between December 27th and December 28th at Senior Care and Midwood Ambulance's headquarters. The second dose of the series is now underway with almost 500 second doses administered between this past Sunday and Monday, as well as additional 50 first doses administered. Additional second dose appointment this week, starting tomorrow at Senior Care. It's scheduled to end on Thursday. For appointments, please go to the vaccinepod.nyc.gov to sign up. A special passcode has been created and sent to EMS leadership to sign up. Members are to contact agency leadership for this passcode. Also mentioned in the ambulance committee, the FEMA Public Assistance Grant, as mentioned before, REMSCO is the lead agency currently applying for public assistance from FEMA on behalf of the volunteer agencies here in New York City for reimbursement from the COVID mutual aid activation. This has been socialized with District 4 and District 18 leadership agencies with requests. Please send an email request to myself before the end of this week. End of report.
Thank you very much. Are there any questions for Scott? Again, Scott, thank you for all your work on this project. Program agency update, Marie.
Okay, yes. I just want to affirm that, yes, we received an email from Ryan Greenberg saying that they were notified of approval of our contracts, and they're going to be paying us our contracts eventually. I know that our regional council contract has been executed and we're getting ready to ask for payment. The program agency contract has not yet been executed, but that should be coming soon also. And they're going to be paying not just the 80%, but 100% of our funding, which is great since we get so little funding to begin with. 20% was really a devastating cut. And let's see, what else do I have? Just to keep you abreast of what we're doing. Okay, so New York State funds, I just gave you the good news. It'll be even better when we actually have money in the bank account. You know that we are trying to build up our mental health team. And it's been difficult because while the New York State Office of Mental Health has given us behind the scenes money to pay for critical incident stress management courses and suicide prevention courses. We have a few of our council members here have actually taken these train the trainer courses. We didn't have money to hire someone to actually coordinate this. And we just don't have time. You see what we've been doing these past few months. Mental health, as important as it is, we just don't have time. So we were approached by Community Trust of New York, and they were very interested in funding a coordinator. So by the end of this week, I have to have that application in, and we may be getting significant funds to hire someone and to actually provide uniforms and some communication devices for our mental health team. Scott already gave you the information about FEMA, and you all know what we're doing. If you haven't heard yet, we're working with New York City Department of Health to staff ambulances at each of the 15 city pods. We're also working with New York City Department of Health and our providers, our ambulance providers, to supplement their vaccinators with our people. Our EMTs and paramedics are taking the state course online. Dr. Schenker is our medical director, and which is good because the other day we ran out of syringes and he came through and he got us syringes so we could keep giving shots. We're also using our team of paramedics, but we are signing off on their skills under Dr. Schenker. So we're really busy. These CONs right now are, they should be the priority, and I'm going to make them the priority now because statutorily they have to be the priority. But we're not able to take on too much additional work right now. So if we don't get back to you immediately, you know, it's not like we're on vacation, though that would be a nice thought. We're really busy right now. And if anyone has any questions, myself, Scott, Joe, Nancy, we can help you with any questions you have.
Any questions? Dr. Cooper, unmute yourself, please.
Yes, I wondered, Marie, given the shortfall in funds to operate all of our programs at the moment until the state comes through, is there any thought that we might be able to apply for the Paycheck Protection Program, small business?
That's actually being done on the board level. So, and I know we did do that already, right, Nancy?
Yes,
and I think,
yes, absolutely. We're in the loop on that, Dr. Cooper.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, no. Yeah, the board finance committee is very on top of that.
Are there any other questions for Marie? Okay, so let's move on. The next item on our agenda, I believe, is the ambulance committee report, which I will report on. The ambulance committee met immediately before this meeting. The main items on the meeting was, number one, the Ridgewood VAC expansion CON, and the ambulance committee deemed and voted that the application is complete. Marie will be setting up a public hearing. I don't believe we need to take any action at REMSCO on this, so I'm reporting this. Similarly, there was a application from Forest Hills VAC expansion, which was submitted and resubmitted, and the ambulance committee deemed it to be incomplete, and they will be notified as to what they are still meeting. And should they send us back the material, we have agreed that we will have an emergency meeting of the ambulance committee by Zoom to deal with that. The only other item came up was to, I believe, for Glen Oaks to concur with the territory as was previously written. We voted unanimously. Well, there were a few abstentions, so I can't say unanimously. We voted to concur and to send this up to the state. Marie, do we need to do that here?
Yes.
Okay, so Jerry, could you kindly, for the purpose of the REMSCO, repeat what this is about and then make a formal motion, please?
Sure. The discussion this evening is to approve or concur with our request to proceed with a clarification of operating territory in concurrence with DOH Policy Statement 1106, where we are trying to update our community territories that were not on our certificate in 1973 because it was truncated and grouped into one larger Glen Oaks community. In response to some information that was brought forward at public hearing and some misinformation and misassumptions that we do not cover certain parts of our approved territory, we have entered into a clarification of operating territory document, which was provided to the REMSCO. And we are looking to add the communities of Belrose, New Hyde Park, and Queens Village onto our existing certificate. In doing so, it concurs with the boundaries and the communities and postal zones in our current operating certificate. This is in no way a grandfather of existing territory, which was something that happened in the 70s. This is not an expansion. This is actually existing territory that is being clarified for nomenclature and appropriate designations. So we are asking for the REMSCO's concurrence so it could be brought up to State DOH Operations Section so they can review and appropriately determine whether it is compliant or it needs adjustment.
And I assume you make such a, I assume that you are making the motion that this be done.
Yes, I am making them. I think Allison is trying to talk.
I'm so sorry to interrupt, but can someone just refresh my memory on what that policy statement is? I think you said 1106, just two sentences or three sentences. I want to make sure it's not the same thing we've revisited and are visiting constantly.
Okay, Allison, for 1 minute, before you're a little bit out of order, I need to have a second on the motion and then we'll discuss it. So can we have a second on the motion?
Second.
I hear a second from
Jerry Gumbo.
Jerry Gumbo. Thank you. Now, Allison, you are in order. You are recognized. Can someone please?
This question, doesn't this come as a seconded motion from ambulance?
Yeah, technically it did. My mistake. So actually, we don't need the motion in the secondary. You're correct. But so we now have a motion to discuss. Allison, you are now in order. Can someone please answer her question?
I apologize for being out of order.
Okay, that's okay.
Thank you.
Jerry, can you do that?
Yes, I can. Policy Statement 1106 was instituted in response to a lot of boundaries that were not coterminous with communities, community boards, towns, villages, etc. Many of the volunteers especially had their boundaries, denoted by street boundaries, and that has since gone away in 2011. It's primarily used to clarify territories or areas that were not appropriately denoted. There's basically a discrepancy on how it is viewed in areas that were originally looked at one way and now it's represented and noted in other ways. So hypothetically, if 4 communities were considered under the Glen Oaks truncated, greater community, but is now referenced and postal zone references of Belrose, Queens Village, Floral Park, things like that, and New Hyde Park, then that complies with 1106. The one statute on that is that it cannot be used to expand your operating territory. And as provided to the council numerous times, the maps from Glen Oaks are consistent. And we've discussed that with our boundary leadership and advised them that we are not in any way looking to expand our boundaries, but looking to update with the appropriate nomenclature accordingly.
Thank you very much. Is there any other discussion on this motion? Hearing none, Marie, roll call.
Okey doke, hold on, let me get that up. So, okay. Okay, so as with our other votes, please vote in favor, opposed, or abstain. And this is to accepting the clarified territory for Glen Oaks. Dov Jacob,
In favor.
Grace Casciola,
In favor.
Christine Mazzola, Samia McEachin,
In favor.
William Goffin,
In favor.
Danny Mizels.
In favor.
Thank you. Robert Bristol,
In favor.
John Johnstone,
In favor.
Travis Kessel. Are you, people from the volunteer sector, are you abstaining on this or?
Yes, we both have to abstain under the circumstances.
Okay,
As it stands, not on behalf of the volunteers, just as a board member of Glen Oaks, I have to abstain.
okay. Joseph Shanker,
In favor.
Scott Orlansky, Morty Lax,
In favor.
Martina Barcarella.
In favor.
Great. Nancy Benedetto,
In favor.
Vincent Baranco. Vincent. Okay, we'll come back to him later. Arthur Cooper. Dr. Cooper.
In favor.
Thank you. Robert Krupe.
I'm the medical director, so I should abstain.
Okay, that's fair. Megan Kissel. Megan Kessel. I got your name right this time.
We call her Farley, see if she answers.
She's gonna get me. Okay, I'll call her back. Manfred Fuchs,
In favor.
Sean Graves,
In favor.
Jerry Gumbo,
In favor.
Yadidja Langsam,
In favor.
Brian Levinsky,
In favor.
Dennis Laurie,
In favor.
Mitchell Powell.
In favor.
Hey, no talking. Okay, I'm going back to Vincent Baranco.
In favor.
Okay, and Megan Farley Kessel.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can.
In favor, sorry.
Oh, that's okay. Okay, so everyone is in favor except for the 3 abstentions, so this motion carries.
Thank you very much. That concludes the ambulance committee report. We now move to training and education. I believe Morty Lax.
So my apologies. It's been pretty hectic lately. We did not meet, but I definitely owe everybody a meeting. We really want to do a recap of the training and move on with the next project. So we will certainly meet before the next meeting. Other than that, I have nothing to report other than to echo the already existing sentiment out there, thanking the regional council for all they've been doing with the vaccinations. We appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Any questions? Hearing none, we now move to the report from the REMAC. I believe Dr. Schenker, that's you. but you have to unmute yourself.
I just did. Just give me a second. All right. Not everybody's as quick as you did. We don't do this all 24 hours a day.
This is true.
Anyway, REMAC met on January 5th via Zoom. There was discussion about the REMAC exam. New dates were added for January. I'm sure you all have seen that already. Initially, there were very few dates posted. It was dependent on the new exam questions and the exam being rolled out and approved. So those questions are now in the exam. The exam matches the current protocols and has been expanded with dates. Okay, the following protocols were approved: a severe sepsis and septic shock protocol and an undifferentiated shock protocol. These will be forwarded to the next CMAC meeting for approval and for rollout next year. The FDNY presented a pilot program of mental health response units. This is a DOH and City Hall initiative to provide mental health counselors on site as opposed to taking patients to a hospital that will probably discharge them almost immediately. They presented it to REMAC. REMAC wrote a letter of support, or voted to write a letter of support. This does not change any of our current protocols. The only thing that changes is what the response would be on the pilot side. So there is no need for a traditional pilot program, but the REMAC was in support of the initiative. Secondly, the pulse oximetry available to EMS from New York State DOH. There was no opposition to that. That basically New York State has been issuing pulse oxes to agencies to use as a leave behind for patients that RMA. The RMA process doesn't change. The pulse oxes are not used as part of the RMA decision process, simply that they are available and handed to the patient to have at home. There was a QA report about the stroke STEMI First Watch program. The dashboard is being refined and prepared. Hopefully we'll present it at the next meeting. There is a New York City COVID after action report that is being finalized and will be made available as well. The ALS and BLS training at that time were pretty much completed. There's a few agencies that are still outlying. I know that COVID has kind of delayed things, but I did tell the state that we would be live and up by January 1st. So I do ask anyone who hasn't completed it to please get it done. I know that most agencies have, and I'd like to thank them for that. And that concludes the REMAC report.
Would it help, Dr. Schenker, if the staff wrote a letter to all those agencies, or they've already been contacted?
I think that they've all contacted us with a letter stating why they could not be live by January 1. But we will review that list, and if there needs to be a letter sent out, I think we can. We'll do that.
Thank you very much. Is there any other questions for Dr. Schenker regarding the REMAC? Hearing none, let's move on to the Quality Improvement Committee. Who is doing that?
The Quality Improvement Committee did not meet since the last discussion that we've had here. There was supposed to be a meeting that got canceled last minute.
Thank you very much. Okay, we now move to the Sensco report. Dr. Krupe.
I have to apologize. I did not provide Dr. Krupe with any notes because I really wasn't able to participate too much on that meeting.
Dr. Krupe could wing it. We're good.
Yeah.
Oh,
I was in
okay.
a similar situation. I was like in and out of meetings, Kiki. I was launching a vaccine program at the hospital, Kiki, and on consultation service at the same time. It was pretty crazy that day.
I mean, if we can't really remember anything other than big things, I can put together a report to send out to everyone after this. I actually don't remember any big ticket items.
I ask the REMAC protocols that were discussed. Does anybody remember what the outcomes of those discussions were, at least? Hearing none, I'll
yeah.
Let's move on.
Put off that report until the next meeting of REMSCO. Okay?
Yeah, we'll put it together.
Thank you.
You can create it from Mike McAvoy just sent out his snide remarks, and you can create a report.
Those are my favorites.
Just to state on the record, the region did send up a very succinct and to the point training for EMS providers with regards to COVID-19 vaccinations. As we all know, that was overruled by people at the state that clearly do not understand what EMS providers do, and made EMS providers sit through a 2-hour training of how to draw up and inject an IM injection, which I think is a little bit appalling that no one stood up on a state level for our providers to say that they know how to do this and do it on an everyday basis. So I think that was a little disappointing. I voiced my frustration to the state, and I know that other medical directors throughout the state have done that as well. So it is a little bit shameful what happened, but hopefully in the future they will appreciate what we've done and the way we've been able to ramp up and provide vaccinations, not only for our own providers, but when asked, we're able to ramp up 30 people in about 3 hours to provide vaccinators for the New York City pods. And, you know, that speaks loads towards what EMS providers do in public health crisis and emergencies. So I really think that that's important that we mention it here. Again, Marie, Joe, Scott, Nancy were able to mobilize, I think it was 30 vaccinators in about 3 hours.
Dr. Schenker, put your statement into writing and have.
Really, I have to remember what I just said?
Yeah, it's recorded.
Hey, it's
Oh, gosh.
taped. It's taped.
Oh, good, thank God. Somebody please write that down.
I will. I just wanted to add to that.
Wait.
Okay.
I'd like him, before he gets off the hook, that says he's not.
I'm not off the hook. I'm here still.
But please put it in writing, and I would like the REMSCO to send that letter to the commissioner and to the Department of Health. Okay, it needs to be said. Okay, it needs to be said in writing. So I would be willing to sign such a letter as chair of REMSCO. And
I would be willing to sign it as well. Marie, if you could just clean up my language a little bit. I really don't remember what I said. I know that it was poignant, and I know that it was really from the heart, because
It made me cry. It was really great.
No, it really what happened. And I had a very long conversation with Mr. Greenberg and other medical directors in the state, Mike Daly, to name a few, and who else from Rochester?
Jeremy Cushman, I think.
Jeremy.
Yep.
Both were very strongly opposed to the training that was rolled out for our providers.
Yeah, Dr. Cushman is a very strong supporter of EMS. He really is.
Yes, he is.
Cooper wants to speak. Go ahead.
Did you want a formal motion, Mr. Chairman?
I would love such a formal motion.
I will make such a motion. Thank you.
We have a formal second.
Can I second my own language?
Seconded.
If I can, I will second Dr. Cooper's motion.
Okay, and both Dr. Schenker and I will sign the letter when Marie puts it together. Thank you. I don't think we need a vote. We'll accept it as unanimous.
I just wanted to add to this. You know, EMS, as we sort of know, it has been around about 5 decades now. And still, people don't know what we do. I mean, these are people in New York City Department of Health. And it really amazes me. And when our people went on scene to work as vaccinators, they just could not believe how efficient, how fast, and just how professional they were. You know, our people went through giving out vaccines so quickly. We really are such a great resource for this city. And hopefully, well, it would be nice if they would remember for at least the next few weeks. I don't hold much hope up, because when we go out of the limelight, everyone forgets about us.
No, I will say that on day one of the first pod, they did try to show us how to draw up. I remember the first pod in senior care on that Sunday, Jose, who is the DOH pharmacist, was like, okay, this is how you draw it up. And we were just handing out vials, and was pretty comfortable with us managing it on our own. So
Yeah.
thank you, everybody.
So, yeah, so we're really a big thank you out to our EMS providers here in New York City, because they really are coming through and they're professional and they know what they're doing and they're making us all look really good.
Thanks to all. Okay, is there any unfinished business? Hearing none, is there any?
I'm sorry, everyone's thanking everybody, but I have to mention, you know, our staff, we only have 5 people in our office. I don't know if you realize that. Sometimes people think we have like 100 people there. There are 5 of us. And I just wanted to let you know, people have been working in the office, Zooming in. We have Madeline Mercedes, who is our finance person, who has been diligently doing her job. Charlie Ung, who's doing CPR. Poor Dina, who does REMAC cards and paramedic cards. I think she wants to just quit, but I won't let her. Then Joe and Scott, who are handling all these ops. And Scott's also handling finance. He was just hired full-time, thank goodness. And Nancy, who was always there behind the scenes. Thank you so much. And poor Dr. Schenker, who we have shanghaied into being medical director for our program. So I don't want to leave anybody out. And everybody here on this committee, thank you so much. I mean, Morty Lax, who does all that work with training and gets almost no thanks for it. People more likely to yell at him than to say thank you. But we want to say thank you to you.
And Nancy, clearly enjoying your retirement, I see.
I am. Thank you very much.
Oh, God. But I just wanted to say that. Thank you to everybody, because we could not do it without everybody.
Marie, talk to me offline. We can think of a way to recognize all these people in a more formal way.
Okay, that's great.
Talk to me offline. Okay, is there any other that was unfinished business, I guess. Any new business?
Yes.
Go ahead.
First and foremost, while we're thanking everyone, I'd like to thank our vaccine pod hosts, Midwood Instacare and Senior Care. Without those sites, it wouldn't have happened. I worked up at the Bronx site, and I had the pleasure of, traveling down to the Brooklyn site. And let me tell you, it worked like a charm both places. So thank you for the host. And it's paying off double.
From personal experience, let me just say, when I walked into Midwood for my shot, the line was so long that I said, oh my God, I'm going to be here all day. I actually took pictures. You couldn't even see to the end of the line. And I was out of there in a half an hour. Everything went so efficiently. That line moved. I've never seen lines move so quickly and so efficiently, in and out. Got your shot. It still hurts. My second shot. I'm only 2 days away. It still hurts. But it was extremely efficient. And I couldn't have been prouder of everyone who was involved.
Yeah.
And of course, there was one photographer there who was taking pictures all day long of one of the areas. I'm sure we'll hear more about that as well. Okay. Any other new business?
Second piece, Mr. Chairman, update on Bed-Stuy Volunteer Ambulance Corps was reported in the correspondence that they were available and ready for inspection. Since that correspondence came in, New York State Department of Health, Mara region went and inspected them and removed all deficiencies, and they are now out and operational.
Oh, that's lovely.
Thank you very much both to REMSCO and to the 2 volunteers who went and helped them put everything back in order. Dr. Cooper.
Yes, thank you. I noted that in the chat, Allison Burke requested to speak, and I just wanted to make sure that she was recognized.
I did not see her, but please, Allison, please.
I do not want to be out of order again, so I'm following the protocol.
Raise your hands. If I could train everyone to raise your hand officially on the participant list, this wouldn't happen. But I guess it's way past grade school, and I can't teach adults how to raise hands. So go ahead, Allison.
Well, I am probably at a grade school level, although I'm getting better at Zoom. I want to thank you. I just want to echo some of the previous comments about the EMS community and Greater New York is, and my colleague Samia is on, we are a hub in particular for New York City with Governor Cuomo for vaccine distribution, and the EMS universe of providers have been critical to getting this done. As others have noted, it's been extremely efficient and more efficient than some of our other partners, because our universe of providers are people who are used to doing things quickly, informed, without delay, and it's working fabulously. So thank you for everyone who's been involved in that. My comment on the new business end was just to go back to comment from, I don't recall who now, and I'm sorry, I'm multitasking and taking notes and jotting things down, but the city behavioral health response, which involves FIDNY, NYPD, New York City Well, which is a City Hall initiative led by the First Lady, Charlene McCray, is sort of evolving, but I wanted to just let people know that as this rolls out and expands, the governor's executive budget included language that would establish crisis stabilization centers. I want to get the language right, which would serve both individuals in the community who receive a 911 response, whether it be law enforcement, EMS, or otherwise, would include individuals with mental health issues as well as substance use disorder issues. And these, Greater New York is supporting them. We would, and will continue to advocate for them. It's a lower cost of care. These crisis stabilization centers would be staffed by, in addition to medical and behavioral health providers, peers. They would be an alternative destination outside of ET3. I don't even want to bring that up, but outside of ET3, these centers would be required to have agreements with law enforcement in their geographic regions, ADAMS, whatever they're called, and would be able to accept people who would otherwise be transported to emergency rooms. And hopefully that helps the system operate more efficiently.
Thank you,
Excuse me, Allison, can I just ask, will police be transporting these people to these crisis stabilization centers, or are they going to be 911 calls? I mean, EMS calls?
They are a combination of everything. So these are NYPD responses, 911 calls. NYPD is absolutely, as well as other, by the way, this is a statewide initiative, but for New York City, it would involve whomever steps up and wants to establish, based on, you know, financing, who wants to establish these centers, relationships with their law enforcement, EMS, and other community providers.
Great.
Thank you.
Sounds good.
Is there any other new business? Hearing no new business, before I call for a motion to adjourn, I want to wish everyone a happy new year again, and I wish you that all stay safe.
Yeah.
Stay safe. Motion to adjourn would be in order.
So moved.
So moved.
Thank you. We are adjourned. Stay safe out there. Bye.
Yep. Stay
Thank
safe.
you. Have a good night.
Good night.
Night all.